a special appeal, especially to those who have comorbidities. Get vaccinated. Because you will be working among children who are, some of them, most of them will be unvaccinated and may have the virus and not show any symptoms.
As we anticipate the November 8th reopening of schools for some categories of students, we join Prime Minister Andrew Holness's call. Let's all play our part to get Jamaica back on track as it continues its quest to be the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Getting the first dose is not an excuse not to wear the mask, not to social distance or physical distance, not to sanitize. Getting the first dose is not justification for deciding that you're going to resume the parties, the gatherings beyond the limits that have been established. The journey is to observe the protocols, take the second dose when it is time, and then we will resume some semblance of normalcy once we achieve herd immunity.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, November 1, 2021. An agreement for a 4% wage increase and other allowances for public sector workers was signed by the Ministry of Finance and the Joint Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU, on Friday. In this one-year agreement, workers earning up to $1.5 million annually will also get a one-off payment of $40,000. Only 50,000 workers, or approximately 50% of public sector employees, have so far signed onto the agreement. Payment is expected to be made in December this year, retroactive from April 1. But Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke says this is dependent on the remaining public sector groups signing the agreement.
We want to work with our other partners that are represented by many unions and bargaining groups to fast track the completion of the negotiations for this year, which we have presented as a bridge, as a holding period, in light of the debilitating impact of the pandemic on government revenues, so that we can be in a position to make the deeper, more fundamental and structural changes that will improve the experience of working in the public sector beginning April 1st of 2022.
Members of the JCTU welcomed the short-term agreement.
We are at a point where the wage cycle ends in March of next year, but once we sign, the work has really just begun for us because we are moving immediately into finalizing the discussions around the compensation review and implementation as was promised in April of next year.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke has given government's commitment to begin implementation of the Public Sector Compensation Review by April 1, 2022. The review is intended to overhaul the structure of salaries and other emoluments in the public service to make them more equitable. Dr. Clarke says the undertaking is in the interest of both the government and public sector employees.
The government is constrained from providing quality services to the people of Jamaica if we continue to have a public sector compensation system that is not geared towards the retention of talent. So we will do what is necessary to put ourselves in a position that we can begin the implementation in April. But as I said before, the caveat is that we cannot afford to carry the payment for this year into next year, because it will obviously, if we have to pay this year and next year, then it compromises what we can do next year.
Dr. Clark was speaking during Friday's signing of the new 12-month 2021-22 Heads of Agreement. The review was initially slated to get underway during the 2021-22 financial year, but was deferred due to the adverse impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I am deeply grateful to the Confederation for their understanding of this position that the Jamaican economy and the government is in, and that understanding has allowed us to focus with fierce degree of momentum on making the resources available to attack the pandemic and to provide support for the vulnerable.
The Bustamante Hospital for Children has received a donation of well-needed eye examination equipment valued at $275,000, which will boost services at the ophthalmology department. The binocular indirect ophthalmoscope provided by IQ Optical was handed over on Friday. It will assist in examining patients' eyes for early detection of abnormal eye conditions and diseases.
This piece of equipment will help us in assessing the premature babies for retinopathy of prematurity. It will facilitate timely intervention and may actually assist in helping one of these children to actually have a normal life with normal vision, rather than suffering or starting out life with compromised vision or even total blindness.
Acting CEO for the hospital, Dr. Camille Wallen-Panton, lauded IQ Optical on its goodwill gesture, which she says will improve patient care.
This is a nice gift, especially it coming closer to Christmas. I'm sure we're ending the year, feeling good in our high department.
When we had our 22nd anniversary earlier this year, we decided to donate a percentage of the money that we collected that month towards something to donate to the hospital. And so we worked towards being able to procure that, and I'm very proud and happy today to be able to hand this over.
Jamaicans will soon benefit from a more efficient and customer-centric postal service, with plans in place to develop the industry. Postmaster General Lincoln Allen says through its 9 strategic objectives, Jamaica Post has begun the process of rebranding and repositioning the organization.
We have started to renovate some of our locations and strengthen our IT infrastructure. We intend to improve our communication with our stakeholders with the introduction of a new PBX system, as well as with the strengthening of our customer service capacity within the department.
Mr. Allen was speaking last Friday at Jamaica Post's 350th anniversary stamp launch held at the Post and Telecommunications Department. He says that with Jamaica Post operating from over 200 locations, its premium service offerings will be enhanced and expanded. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is now in Glasgow, Scotland, representing Jamaica's interests at the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference of the Parties, commonly known as COP26. Mr. Holness left the island Saturday for the conference, which expects parties to give updates on their country's pledges to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. COP26 is being held under the co-presidency of the United Kingdom and Italy. During his visit, Prime Minister Holness will hold bilateral discussions with world leaders on the margins of the conference. Minister Horace Chang is in charge of the government until the Prime Minister's return on Wednesday. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
I'm saying to every single Jamaican, you will decide how this pandemic ends. If you wear your mask, if you maintain the physical distance, and if you decide to take the vaccines when it is your time, the pandemic will end. But if in frustration or just ignorance, we do not take responsibility, then the pandemic could end badly, including the loss of more lives.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
We urge our parents with children who are eligible to take the COVID-19 vaccine to bring them to a vaccination site to be inoculated. Not only is your child's health your responsibility, so too is their well-being, safety and development. We kickstart Parent Month celebration with a timely workshop that shares tips to be the best parent you can be for your child.
Very good.
This was not always a usual occurrence in the Nelson household. Before Sarita Nelson, a single mother of 4, participated in a parenting education program, she shared little affection with her children. Her role as a parent was limited to the provision of clothing, food, and school supplies. And when they stepped out of line,
I used to curse a lot. I curse a lot. I tell them bad words. I call them names. Anything at all. I will hold in my hand. I will lick them. I don't think.
The use of these harsh disciplinary measures started affecting their behavior.
I have a son, Chavez, who's 16 years old. He had a maths teacher. I think it was a situation where the teacher had engaged him in a conversation before the class, and he said that the teacher was being too loud. So he back answered the teacher. So for that reason, they thought that he needed discipline. So that is how I got introduced. He went to a program with CSJP, anger management program.
A team from the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, visited Sarita's home to speak about her relationship with her children.
When they came here, they asked me questions, and I was blunt but truthful as to how I deal with situations. So I think that is the reason why they chose me to be a part of the CSJP intervention program, parenting program.
Today we'll be talking about model parenting relationship. Children live what they learn. In order for them to grow up and to be what you want them to be, you first have to show them the example.
CSJP is helping parents to build better relationships with their children through their parenting education program.
We are a crime prevention, violence reduction program. And what we've recognized with the different beneficiaries, persons that we treat, is a lot of the root of the issue starts with what we would call coercive parenting practices. And so for us, we realize that persons need to be equipped with the skills and the techniques that would allow them to parent effectively.
The program, launched in November 2017, engages parents from the 50 at-risk communities targeted by the CSJP. They undergo 6 months of intensive parenting training.
We start by looking at the self. And so we go through a process where the parents actually have an opportunity to reflect on their own upbringing. We build self-awareness, self-esteem, because the idea is that if we can help the parents identify issues within themselves and to treat with these, then they're better able to identify it in their children and to help their children to resolve some of these issues.
When I was a child growing up, I never get any love from both parents, and grow by grandma. And grandma died and I get a lot of abuse, and I have 8 kids, and I would like to grow my 8 kids in the right and proper way.
I used to be very angry, very aggressive, very loud. But I now know to stop, think, breathe, and walk away through the CSJP program.
All of this delivered through in-home visits by community parent trainers, CPTs, individuals from CSJP communities trained as program facilitators.
A parent's job is to help the child become the best that he or she can become.
I now listen to my children. I now understand that they have a right and I have a right too. I now know how to discipline them in a positive way. Going through the program with CSJP, I now understand that these things are very effective and is needed in a relationship with our children.
Since the parenting program, she has improved a lot. As in, she started showing us love. She hugged us whenever we did something right, or we get a good grade on a report.
She haven't used any hurtful words to us anymore. She tries her best to interact with us, and it feels great.
Parenting is a difficult job, and the Citizen Security and Justice Program is ensuring that parents are equipped with the requisite information and techniques to handle the challenges. The result, children who are capable and ready to take on the world.
All children deserve positive parenting. Why not pamper us? Be patient with us. Make time to teach us and, of course, play with us. Celebrate milestones with us and don't forget to be our #1 supporter. Do all these things and practice positive parenting today.
November is observed annually as Local Government and Rural Development Month. So today we look at the work of an agency within the ministry which takes care of solid waste on the island.
Once upon a time, in a land far away from a fairy tale, were a people who lived the way you and I do, but a little differently. Much like the shoemaker and the elves, these street fairies don't leave beautiful pairs of shoes behind, but their art shares some similarities, and it's nonetheless worthy of recognition.
Good night, Dana Anderson, shovel user, shovel and drum, clean up Jamaica.
I'm working in company 8 years now. I like the job, keep the place tidy and clean.
They always say to me, say, this is not a woman's work, but a woman has to do what a woman has to do, eh? You have to work for yours, eh? Nobody ain't gonna give you nothing, so you have to work for it.
Yeah, enough of the woman work hard and plenty of the man them. I get used to my work still, so I don't feel no different from the man them. At the end of the day, I will bread where I work for. So any work I work for woman. Woman the man work nowadays.
I'm all right with my work. Yeah, I can provide for myself, my nephew, my niece, my child. She don't really like me day out here, you know, she rather me dead with she, but I have to make ends meet. I have to work, I have to pay my bills them. But they don't give me nothing, I have to work my own. But people that see me and want to style me and this, because I try to chuck work me doing them things there. But I don't really watch my face. Because I know, say, when my money enough, you see me?
I want to burn fire upon this whole foolishness that people talk from time to time about. If they don't litter, people don't get work.
Yeah, that's what them say some my time. But them can do better still. Plenty of them can do better still.
Enough of them like we, and enough don't like we, because sometimes we have to do with all the truck like all that, so now them say, you move from there, say you don't thinking truck and them things, but we don't care about that. That's our work.
When you litter, you waste the resource of your country. You make life more difficult for yourself and your fellow men. And you destroy the aesthetic, the beauty of our country that we boast about so much.
We are cleaning up Jamaica. And without cleaning up not Jamaica, wiper, disease and germs are broke out. So everybody who work with solid waste, important people them. All are important.
Differently from the sweeper them, we don't like the garbage bag up and we go through it more easier for we. More time we come out and have to wait on the sweeper them like on the just seat right now. We have to wait till the street sweep up, but if it's bag up, it's more easier for we.
Just the fact that you are generating solid waste, I ask you to just take some time to package it properly so that it gives us more ease of cleaning. And it also helps the side men, side women. They are human beings too. Their job is already very difficult. Don't make it more difficult for them by giving them extra work to do. It is very tough on them. The job is difficult. You know, it's not just about lifting things put in a truck, but some of the things they encounter out here. Bags with human feces. That's common occurrence, especially in the market district. The smell of urine is everywhere, and it's in the solid waste that they're picking up. All sorts of meat cuttings, fish bone, fish back, fish gut. Just about anything that people don't want, and they have to pick it up. They have to face it.
A certain time at the night, when we reach certain hours at the night, like 3:30, 4 o'clock, gunman can strike and we have to run left the garbage some of the time and all them things then. And come back around and take it up see because we cannot leave it. See me? We cannot leave it. And we don't like them keep Jamaica beauty and clean.
Well, I stay out of them way and I'm not really ghost for them though. I still think them happen, I just stay by myself. It's in my local corner.
And yet, despite the tough nature of the job, these people show up not just for work, but they show up and work.
We're backbone of the company, you know. Who clean the rubbish and my backbone, we're the most important people in the company. How we clean up work, enough mess and good rubbish, bad rubbish, all different kind of rubbish.
I believe deep in my heart that if you talk about heroes and heroines, our sidemen and sidewomen are right up there with any because of the human service that they provide and in very tough circumstances to keep Jamaica clean. Day after day, night after night, they are out and about, they roll up the sleeve, and notwithstanding all that they have to face, their head is down and they are going relentlessly in pursuit of that clean Jamaica. I laud them, I lift my hat to them. They are good people. I just hope that more and more people will see them for who they are. People who are there to safeguard the health of the nation. They are the NSWNA. Without them, we are nothing.
Yeah, I love my work, I love it. I love clean the sugar.
I really get me use a night time
And as sunbeams break the night sky and the stars and moon bid their goodbye, the city smiles.
The government of Jamaica and its partners invites you to be part of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, November 1 to 4. Tune into this station and watch the opening and closing ceremonies, as well as select sessions on the Ministry of Local Government's Facebook page, the JIS website and YouTube channel. Hear how the region is building resilient economies in the Americas and the Caribbean for you, for now, and for the future.
Our food producers are being highlighted all month long. So let's look at a woman who is stamping her mark in this crucial sector.
I got into farming because my hobby was gardening. I was nuts about plants, flowers. So it was kind of a natural area to look for when I was looking for something to do. I started in an area that didn't have water, so I was not able to irrigate. And with climate change, it made things really, really unpredictable, very risky, and just difficult. So I don't consider myself as having really started farming until I moved into this agro park, where I was able to irrigate and do things in an optimal way.
Amity All is approximately 2,400 acres. We have 22 investors, 5 of which are female. The soil is predominantly Sydenham clay, and the crops that do well here, we have the cucurbits. That would include pumpkins, sweet potatoes, zucchini, squash. Also a few tubers do very well, sweet potatoes and cassava. Those crops do very well. We also have a lot of farmers who have gone into the Scotch bonnet pepper, and they're also doing very well. Once we manage the water application with the type of soil that we have and give proper nutrition, these crops do very well.
Life has been a learning experience primarily because of the Sydenham clay, but I don't know if that's particular to this park. I think anywhere that you go, you have to learn to work with what you have. So it's been a learning experience, and but one good thing about it is that you see the rewards at the end of the day because you're able to irrigate or fertigate, which is fertilizing through the irrigation system. So you're getting closer. I see myself inching closer and closer to the point where I'll get optimal yields, which is what every farmer wants. Everything that I produce goes to food processors. And the particular processor that I sell to, 90% of their output is exported. So I like to think that I'm a part of that whole chain that is earning foreign exchange for the country. I plant only hot peppers. I'm trying this year to try and stretch myself and learn other things. So I'm hoping on the boundaries I've created little areas where I'm going to do some experimentation. But for now, I'm only doing hot peppers and specifically Scotch bonnet. I've set myself the challenge of trying to master that because of the two types that we grow here in Jamaica. That definitely is the most demanding one. So still going up the learning curve. I think the reason why I settled on peppers is because you can sell it. You don't have to scratch your head and wonder where you're going to sell it. Because most of the processors have back orders, export orders. And in fact, we've found ourselves in the situation in Jamaica where processors have to import pepper mash. So you will never ever have a problem selling your product. If you never went to farm school, if you don't really have experience, try to get into a situation where people are readily accessible to give you that encouragement, not just advice, technical advice, but also encouragement, because sometimes you may go through a little period where you feel, wow, is this really worth it? And that support is valuable. But that's one thing. In terms of practical advice, don't go anywhere without water. Just don't go anywhere without water. That's the mistake I made. And the second thing is try to farm reasonably close to where you live. Another mistake that I made, because how often you go to your farm, the hours you put in, it shows. The further away you live, you try and cut corners here and cut corners there, and it will show.
When you come to Amityville, there are a few things. There are things here that can help to foster your production. One, we have a team of stakeholders working together to cater to your needs. We have the RAD extension officers, we have the persons from NIC, we have the team from AIC. We also have a group of farmers that are willing to work together to help to move the produce not from the ground to the plate.
It's the 11th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Students, show your national pride by entering the essay, poster and photo competition. Primary school students, enter the essay competition. Triumphant, proud and free. Use this phrase from the song Jamaica Land of Beauty to explain our nation's heritage and achievements. High school students, design a poster that best portrays the phrase triumphant, proud and free. And university students, capture a photo that depicts the phrase triumphant, proud and free. Haven't sent in your entries yet? There's still time. The competition has been extended to November 7. Visit jis.gov.jm for guidelines. Triumphant, proud and free. The JIS Heritage Competition 2021.
This is where we leave you on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. We return tomorrow with another information-packed program, so be sure to check in with us then, right here on this station, round about the same time, of course. Stay connected with us by sending your comments and queries to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. We are available online at your leisure through our website, YouTube channel, and social media pages on all the major platforms. There's also a free mobile app that can be downloaded to your smartphones. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.